Okay, gonna attempt a little walk. Head towards the beach. Here's my path, there's my house. And there's my path. See how far I can get without finding myself suffering. My path to the beach. I think there's some Canadian geese down here in the tidal ponds. Thought I heard them. I hope so. You get a picture or two. My path is still wide open from last fall. Came down here and we cut some of the alder bushes back to open it up. That's a high tide, but it's on its way out right now. Am I seeing any geese? That's what I'm looking for. Are geese. That's where they'd be, is right there. I'm not seeing any. They must have flew off. They knew I was coming. Well, see if we can get some video of the surf. Although it's starting to quiet down now because it's on its way out. There's Crow Island. Alright, so I'm almost up the whole end of the path here, coming up on the beach. The surf is still up. Calm compared to what it's been. It's been pretty wild. Oh, look at all the rocks that the surf threw up here. Oh my goodness. Oh, tons of it. Except up at the other end of the beach. It's cleared right off. I think my log is gone though. My squatting log. All those waves are small compared to what they were. But look at the tons of rock. Small little mountains of it. Well, I wish the geese were here. But they're not. But this is part of the Bay of Fundy. And across that body of water is Nova Scotia. Does that not do the world of good to your soul? Hearing that sound? Beautiful. Time for me to get some still shots. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye for now. Isn't that funny? Take notice of the tons of rock here and you look up the beach and there's barely a rock to be seen. Such a dark day. Come on, give me some good surf. And you could see that when the high tide was up, just by looking at the seaweed on the ground, on the beach, it tells you the tide come right up and over. And look at all the seagrass that's been flattened. Tons of rock thrown on top of that seagrass, thrown in by the surf. Every kind of rock under the sun you can find here. There goes Raven. Wait till the crows spy him. They won't like it. It's a fantastic day. Otherwise than it being gloomy and gray, which it's been for a week. Okay, we'll take a walk down to the water. Get up close and personal with the Bay of Fundy. Oh, it feels good to get out and walk. Here comes, see that heave? That looks like a big one coming in, but it's not. I love where I live. There's a very rich history here in Chance Harbor. Very rich history. There's a graveyard up at the end of the beach, which you can't see from here, but it's behind the stand of trees at the very end of the beach. And that's coming up on 300 years old. And shipwrecks during the war, when the British were invading. There are a lot of downed ships out there. A lot of loss of life, and artifacts that have been reclaimed, such as gold pieces. The stuff that pirate movies are made of. It all took place right here. Secrets of the deep. I'd like some gold coins to wash up, I tell you. Yeah, I think it's time I head it back. I don't want to push my luck. Oh, I wish it was a nice day. It would be nice to just sit down here for a while. My logs got messed up. I don't know what happened. But that surf was wild enough to move it, and that thing must have weighed a ton. I love the rocks down here. You got a bit of everything. There's a lot of quartz. That white rock right there, this one, that would have quartz in it. There's a lot of granite as well. And the pink granite is native to the area, more or less. Stuff they make headstones and stuff out of. Well, I wish the Canadian geese were here. They were down here squawking till I came down. All I'm seeing is a seagull. All these rocks aren't normally here. Normally there's sand along this path. This is from the surf for the past week or so. Look what it's done. You can see where it's flattened the seagrass down. It come all the way into here, the reach, right where it ends. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And that house right there is called the Marsh House. All these houses have names. That big blue-gray one, the newer looking one they renovated, that's called the Robin's Egg or the Robin's Nest. And that long white one, some people call it the Long Low, but it's originally known as the Breakers, as in sea breakers. And that little tiny one right there, the Periwinkle. And then those two little outbuildings have names. One of them's called the Clamshell. The other one's called the Shrimp. And this is called the Marsh House, which is still being renovated. That's why it's so messy looking. But with these high tides we've had, I can tell you what happened over there. The tides come into the marsh ponds here, the tidal ponds, and they get so high that the Bay of Fundy slides right under that house, right into the basement and fills it. No, thank you. Not my cup of tea. You couldn't pay me enough to live in a house like that. That just creeps me right out. So, that's the unique thing about that place there. Bay of Fundy drains right into the basement. The place is haunted too. There's a lot of ghosts that walk these grounds. Well, you can imagine with a graveyard at the very end. See, that beach goes, if I could point, if I could see what I'm doing on camera. Can you see that white house on the hill up there? Where is it? On the camera, there we go. Well, that's just across the road from the end of the beach. That's how far up it goes. This is a good long beach. And there's a stand of evergreens. Oh, it's hard to see because it's so dark. Where am I? There we go. I don't think you can make them out. But where the trees end on the spit of the beach, there's an opening, and that's a little channel that fills up the tidal ponds. And right there at the tip, and behind the trees, there's the graveyard. And the first person that was ever buried there was in 17 something or other. The very first settler here in this area, Daniel Belding, lived here. And one day he looked out, tide was low, and he seen color laying something on the mud flats. He went out, it was the body of a British soldier, a British soldier, gonna do it again, and he was dead. They either put him to sea or he fell off his ship, because the British pay ships used to go right by here back in the day. He gave him a proper burial, and that's where he buried him, was on the spit at the very end of the beach here. After that, the rest followed. Daniel's buried there, David's buried there. There's something like 6 infants. You would think that they probably died of typhoid or some kind of communicable disease. I think there's a total of 27 souls that were buried there. And for the craziness of this surf and at the far reach of it, it's never unearthed any graves. It's never disturbed the graveyard. But when you look back in 1969, 1970, a Women's Institute got together and they got a grant to build a cairn in there. And the names of all the dead that are residing in there are on this cairn. The very top of it, the very beginning, number 1, is the unknown soldier. He'll always be remembered as that. Beautiful place. It's the rustic. It's so rustic here. It's so untouched by man, in progress, this sort of a thing. There'll never be a Walmart here. Oh, maybe in 1,000 years, but not now. There'll never be a highway. There'll never be a roads put through. Anything commercial like that. Never. This is all protected land by the province of New Brunswick, the New Brunswick Nature Trust. There's no hunting allowed here. And this goes a long ways as well, ways that we can't see from here, but it does stretch out. A lot of history here. It's gonna write me a book one of these days. Anyway, let's go home. Slowly, I can't believe I made it down here. My legs must be getting better. And I haven't even sat down for a break. Normally I have to go up to my log and I have to sit down and I have to rest. My legs are on fire. I just have a condition with my legs. It's no big deal, but they're getting better. They're getting better. I do love where I live. My dream for this whole property, this is called a compound, because we've got this house, there's one, my house, up behind those trees, and then we've got 3 more down here, and it's all one property, considered a compound. I always wanted to, if I ever won millions of dollars, open up a wildlife refuge, take in injured animals, release them back into the wild, this sort of a thing. Okay, so we got voices. I'm going to shut down for a minute. Oh, the purple finches. Huh. Little buggers. Oh, there they go. I'll have to do a bit more trimming back, I guess. I'm glad it stayed open the way it has. Until it starts to grow in. Uh-huh. Okay, starting to feel the burn. And we're home. So that's my walk to the beach. Thanks for joining me. Bye.